Speak now to Diva Patang, who's a former Afghanistan National Television presenter and joins us now live from London. Welcome to the programme. Diva, give us your reaction to this news. The Taliban ordering all Afghan women to cover their faces in public.
Thank you for having me. I think America and NATO needs to be ashamed of their failed strategy in Afghanistan. The strategy that they had for Afghanistan has failed, and we can see that there is no peace in Afghanistan at the moment, especially for women. And decisions as such are made, and one of the main reasons is NATO and America, and as well as the Republic government of Afghanistan, which is not in power anymore. They failed to bring peace. They didn't manage to have a better strategy for Afghanistan, and also to be able to save the women from such situations. There is absolutely chaos at the moment. We can see that today that they're banning women from going out of their house. They have to cover their faces, which is not Islamic at all. In Islam, it does not say to women that you must cover your faces. It doesn't also is not something that says in the Quran when we go for Hajj or Umrah, we don't have to cover our face. So such decisions or such bans are really affecting the women of Afghanistan, and the reason is the failed strategy of America and NATO.
And, okay, you're blaming, you're saying it's the failed strategy of America and NATO, but is that the only reason that the Taliban have done this? Why have they done this?
Absolutely not. I'm not blaming entirely everything on America or NATO, but there were the people who were negotiating with the Taliban. There were the people who were behind them and were telling the Afghan women that they will be standing with the Afghan women. They will try to protect the women's rights. Where are those people who were trying to lobby for Afghan women? Where are they now? Why are they not coming out to talk to the Taliban to say that what they're doing is wrong? Banning girls from the school, banning now women to even go out of the house to be able to show their faces. So such bans are ridiculous, and I'm not saying that it's only the international communities in the fault, but the strategy that they had for Afghanistan is failing.
And Diva, as you watch, you know, international media, the news, so much is dominated by the war in Ukraine. Do you feel that women in Afghanistan have been forgotten right now by the international community, by the international media, we could say?
Absolutely, absolutely. Exactly the same thing has happened when America invaded Afghanistan, and then the war in Iraq has happened. Afghanistan war was forgotten, and exactly the same scenario is repeated now. That there is what has happening in Afghanistan. The media, the international community, has completely forgotten about the situation in the country or the suffering that Afghan people are having at the moment. So Ukraine has taken over, and to be honest, we hardly even see the international community even talking about Afghanistan. Only if there is something big is happening, like what's happened today, the rule that they have implemented on Afghan women, that then we would hear something about Afghanistan. I think international community needs to start thinking about the promises that they have made to the Afghan women, and also try to speak to the Taliban for what they're doing is wrong, and especially that we are now in the 21st century. We can't force women to cover their faces. We can't force them and tell them what they need to do. We can't force them and make them sit at home and not study. So right now, the Afghan women are the only people who are suffering in the country, and that is because of the failed strategy, and also that they were not able to bring peace into the country. There were negotiations happening in the country with the Taliban, excluding the Republic government, and America was talking to the Taliban. But where is all these promises? The Doha agreement that they had, there was an agreement with the Taliban that they will not be doing such things, but we can see that they failed, and we can see that right now a lot of Afghans are suffering, not just because of this rule that has been implemented. We can see that even financially Afghans are suffering. The asset is blocked. There is absolutely no money in the country, so there is a lot of difficulties, and I think it needs to be tackled.
Diva, thank you so much for speaking to us today on this important subject for women in Afghanistan. Diva Patang, former Afghan National TV presenter. Appreciate your time and your thoughts.
Thank you for having me.